Hello to everybody and warmly welcoming all of you people to listen the online classes and which are conducted by our esteemed college. Of course, that is the Diamond group of institutions, and I am P. Chandrasekhar, Faculty of Zoology. Today we will take some of the interesting questions which are related with the morphology and anatomy of invertebrates as well as vertebrates also. Now the questions are like this. Now the question is here the spermatheca in earthworm is, of course you know that the earthworms are simply called as the monoecious organisms. The male and female reproductive systems are present in one organism, and here during the copulation two of the different earthworms are coming out from their burrows, and they are attached to each other in opposite direction, or else they attach to each other in a juxta position itself. Because of here the spermatheca of one earthworm is situated opposite to the male genital ports itself. During the copulation the proper exchange of sperms in between two of the attached earthworms takes place. So for sake of that, the spermatheca is always helpful to obtain or receive the sperms during the copulation itself. That is the function of spermatheca. Now the options are given like this. Now the A option is like this, for producing sperms. The spermatheca is not at all concerned with the production of the sperm, and for storage of sperms obtained. What I said, just till the fusion of sperm and egg will be completed, and whatever the sperms are so far received by the spermatheca, then temporarily store them in spermatheca itself. And so the B option is the correct option for this, and after that C option is the both, and A and B is not at all related, and D is the none of these during copulation. Of course the B option is the correct option to receive the sperms during the copulation itself. Now I am opting the B option. Okay. Now we go for the next question. The animal which has oval RBC. Particularly one of the specialized adaptation is so far present by having the oval shaped RBC. Particularly the animals which are leading their life in the desert environments or deserts. Naturally, the little low level of the oxygen can be present itself. In order to withstand again the unavoidable conditions of the deserts, those organisms are naturally contain the oval shaped RBC itself in place of concave shaped RBC itself. Now the options are given like this. Dog, of course dog is one among the mammals, and naturally concave shaped RBC can be present, whereas B, fish is not at all concerned with this, and C, human beings are also contain the biconcave RBC itself. E, just enucleated and biconcave, whereas camel is the popularly named as the desert sheep, and naturally it has to withstand against the uneven conditions of their own environments itself. For sake of that, the camel is the best example by having the oval shaped RBC to withstand uneven conditions itself. That's why you are opting the D option for this question. Now you go for the other question. In the earthworm dorsal wall of intestine from the 26th to 95th segment forms a median dorsal fold itself. It is nothing but it is simply called as a diplosole itself. From the 26th onwards till last segments like 95th segment up to the 95th segment of the body of earthworm is naturally having the median dorsal fold. That structure is specifically named as the diplosole. Diplosole is acts like a microvilli like structures of the advanced organisms like human being. So microvilli, how they are enhancing the absorbing surface area. In the similar manner, the diplosole of the earthworm can be enhance the absorbing surface area for the absorption of the digested food particles into the intestine itself. That is the functional activity of the diplosole itself. Now the options are given like this. A option, trochophore. Trochophore is one of the larvae of the ciliated itself. And after that, B the just trophophore is the larva of Annelida, and after that B option is the Diplosole. What I said, Diplosole is the correct option, which is specific median dorsal fold and which is present in the alimentary canal of the earthworm to enhance the absorbing surface area itself. And after that, C the Clitellum. Clitellum is confined to the 14th, 15th, 16th segment of the peritoneum postuma to form the cocoon itself. Whereas trachea is not at all concerned with this. Trachea is the one of the specific part and specific structure which is helpful in the respiration itself. Regarding this question, the B option is correct option for that. So that is called Diplosole. And after that, now you go for the next question. In cockroach, the nymphal characters are maintained by, you know that during the development or just here in the life history of the cockroach, certainly the larval stages are simply called as the nymphal. Nymph is systematically undergoes 13 molds to attain into the adult stage itself. And of course, the larvae is systematically undergoes metamorphosis to attain into the adult cockroach itself. Here, the nymph, whatever the characters are so far present in the nymphal stages of the cockroach, which kind of hormones can be maintained the larval characters itself. Naturally, the metamorphosis can be affected and just systematically carried in the life history of the cockroach by secreting the juvenile hormones itself. Juvenile glands are present, and juvenile glands are supposed to secrete the juvenile hormones which can be maintained the nymphal characters during the nymphal stages of the life history of cockroach itself. Now the options are given like this. Endosome, of course, is not contained, not just concerned with this, and salivary gland. The salivary glands only look after the secretion of the saliva, which is helpful in the digestion or partial digestion of the carbohydrates or starch. Whereas parotid glands are also one among the salivary glands of the mammals. Whereas D, the juvenile glands are juvenile hormones. What I said, the juvenile glands are look after the secretion of the juvenile hormones which can be maintained the nymphal characters of the cockroach. So D option is the correct option for this question. Now you go for the cockroach, sting glands are found in all. So naturally, what is the purpose of sting glands? The sting glands are naturally present in the 5th, 6th tergal segments of the body of cockroach. The sting glands are always secreting a kind of sticky substance which is giving a bad smell to the cockroach. That is the one of the adaptive character of the cockroach, which is helpful to the cockroach to avoid their or else its predators itself. That is how the camouflaging and how the changes of the color of the body, like that by presence of the sting glands is also one of the adaptive character is so far developed by the cockroach to avoid or to cleverly escape from their natural enemies or predators itself. So that is the speciality of the sting glands which are confined to the 5th, 6th tergal segments itself. Now the options are given like this. The 4th and 5th terga. You know that the body of cockroach is simply made with the 20 of the segments. During the embryonic development, 6 segments are united to form the head part, and 3 of the segments are fused together to form the thoracic part, and 11 segments are present in the abdominal parts. Where when the cockroach is attains into the adult stage, certainly only the 10 abdominal segments are left in the body. So in that way, here whatever the sclerates, each segment of the body of cockroach is simply made with or constituted by 4 of the sclerates. So the sclerate which is located on dorsal side of the body, which can be named as the tergum, and ventrally located sclerate can be named as the sternum, and laterally located sclerates can be named as the pleurons or pleura. In that way, tergum, sternum. Two of the pleurons are united to form the each segment of the body of cockroach. So the question is asking that where the sting glands are actually present. Now the first option, A option is given fourth and fifth terga. And whereas B is the fifth and sixth terga, actually they are the dorsal segments which will contain the sting glands. So on the basis of this, the B option is correct for this question, whereas C is the fifth and sixth sterna. Here the sting glands are not at all concerned with the ventral located segment, they are simply called as the sterna. And D option is the fourth and fifth sterna. Among A, B, C, D, the B option is correct placed. That's why I am opting the B option for this question. Now we go for the other question. Sixth question. Salivary glands in earthworm is found in. The salivary glands, irrespective of the different living animals, the salivary glands are naturally present in earthworm also. It naturally present in the pharyngeal wall. The pharynx is the one part of the alimentary canal, and in which inside of the pharyngeal wall there is a presence of salivary glands itself. The salivary gland is naturally secrete a kind of proteolytic enzymes which are look after the partial digestion of the proteins while they are coming into the pharynx itself. So now the question, just here the options are given like this. The dorsal wall of the buccal cavity. Of course, the mouth is simply opened into the buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is not at all concerned with the salivary gland. And after that, the buccal cavity is opened into the pharynx itself. But here the B option is given ventral wall of the buccal cavity. There is no presence of the salivary glands in buccal cavity, irrespective of the dorsal and ventral wall of the buccal cavity itself. Now the C option is the correct option, pharyngeal wall. Buccal cavity is simply opened into the pharynx, and the pharynx will have a little enlarged part that will be called as a pharyngeal bulb. The inside of the pharyngeal bulb, the secreted glandular cells can be present. They act like a salivary glands itself. So that's why the salivary glands are naturally present in the pharyngeal wall. So that's why the C option is correct for this, and the D option is the none of these above. So among A, B, C, D, the C is related answer for this. So I am opting C. And after that you go for the other. Which of the following is not the character of Taenia solium itself? You know that the Taenia solium, it belongs to the phylum Platyhelminthes. It popularly named as the digenetic parasite and endoparasite itself. It naturally causes the kind of disease that is called teniasis itself. Okay. Now the question is asking that. So which of the following is not the character of Taenia solium? Now the options are given like this. Apolysis. Apolysis means here though it is a parasite, the gradual development forever, just the body is forever developed in size. Whatever the new segments are so far added to the body of the Taenia solium, the last segments of the body of Taenia solium can be named as the gravidoproglatids itself. The gravidoproglatids are regularly 5 to 6 number of the gravidoproglatids are simply coming out, detached from the body of Taenia solium, and they are coming out along with the fecal matter of a man to propagate its own species itself. That is called apolysis. What do you mean of apolysis? 5 to 6 segments of the gravidoproglatids are regularly detached from the body of Taenia solium can be named as the apolysis. And apolysis is naturally one of the unique character of the Taenia solium. And after that, the proglatids. What do you mean of proglatids? Means the body of Taenia solium is simply composed by 3 of the parts. The first part is called scolex, which is simply called as the adhesive organ. With the help of suckers and with the help of clitellum or chitin made hooks can be present and the rostellum can be present. With the help of these 3 of the structures, the scolex part is enable the Taenia solium to clinging to the internal parts of the human host. And here the last part is the neck. After that, the third elongated part of the body of Taenia solium can be named as the strobila. The strobila can be made with a number of segments itself. The number of segments are present, but all the segments of the strobila are not equal in size. So that's why whatever the segmentation is so far present in the strobila part of the Taenia solium, which can be named as the pseudo segmentation, not a true segmentation, not a metameric segmentation itself. So each of the, just here whatever the proglatids are, each of the segment of the strobila of the Taenia solium can be named as the proglatid itself. On the basis of difference, or on the basis of by having the little differential state of or rate of the reproductive organs can be present. On the basis of that, the proglatids of the Taenia solium can be classified into three types: immature proglatids and mature proglatids and gravid proglatids itself. Irrespective of the types of the proglatids, each segment of the strobila of the body of Taenia solium can be named as the proglatid. So that's why the proglatid is one of the concerned character of the Taenia solium. Whereas C option is the metamerism, what is said, whatever the segmentation is so far present in the strobila, that is not called as the metamerism itself. The metamerism is not at all concerned with the Taenia solium only. So that's why whatever the segmentation is so far present, that could be named as the pseudo segmentation, not as the metamerism. Whereas D option is the scolex. Scolex is one of the three parts of the body of Taenia solium among A, B, C, D. C option is not related with this Taenia solium. That's why I am opting the C option for this. Now we go for the next question. Earthworms have no skeleton. Of course, naturally, the invertebrates doesn't have any skeleton system as well as vertebral column also. In that way, earthworms have no skeleton, but during burrowing, why it is dig out the burrows? It is natural character to lead its life in burrows itself. Where the soil will be contained the moist nature, certainly with the help of anterior part of the body of earthworm is helpful to dig out the burrows and take the safety measurements to hiding to lead a perfect life within the moist soil itself. And here the question is asking that earthworms have no skeleton, but during burrowing the anterior part became turgid and hard and act as a hydraulic skeleton. It is due to the, just options are given like this: gut peristalsis. What do you mean of gut peristalsis? You know that all along the length of the alimentary canal of the earthworm is also provided the muscles. The muscles are naturally undergoes contraction and relaxation itself. By the contraction of the muscles of the alimentary canal are collectively named as peristalsis movements. With the effect of peristalsis movements, the food particles are transformed from one part to the another part of the alimentary canal itself. That's why here the gut peristalsis is not at all concerned with this question. And after that, B, the setae. The setae is nothing but chaetae also. The setae are a kind of locomotory organelles of the earthworm itself. Along with the setae and the setae is the locomotor organelle which are not acts like a hydraulic skeleton. It is B option is also not related to this. And C option is the coelomic fluid. The coelomic fluid is the correct option because of the true coelom is present, and the true coelom of the earthworm is simply filled with a sticky liquid-like substance that will be called as the coelomic fluid. When it is moving in a particular direction, certainly the coelomic fluid is flows speedily into the anterior part and permit the anterior part become a hard structure to dig out the burrows in the moist soil itself. That's why the C option is the correct option for this. Whereas D, blood is not at all concerned with the act as a hydraulic skeleton itself. Among A, B, C, D, the C option is the correct option for this. Now we go for the another question. The cloaca in frog is a common chamber for the urinary tract. reproductive tract, and another system is also open into the cloaca. The little difference is there, cloaca and anus. The terminal part of the alimentary canal is also called as the anus. The anus is exclusively excrete the indigested food particles of the digestive system or alimentary canal. In addition to that, the cloaca is also terminal part of the alimentary canal, which is confined to some of the organisms like amphibians and other organisms also. What is the functional difference in between anus? Anus is exclusively excrete the indigested food particles, and cloaca is also excrete the indigested food particles of the alimentary canal. In addition to that, which is also helpful to send out the urine, and as well as the gametes can be produced from the male and female reproductive system, which are also carried through the cloaca itself. That is the functional difference in between. So what I said here, the urinary tract is also open, and as well as the reproductive tract is also open. In addition to that, the alimentary canal is also open into the cloaca. That's why whatever the functions, urinary system can be send the urine, reproductive system can be produced either of the male gametes or female gametes. The gametes can be comes out through the cloacal chamber and release them into the environmental condition or environmental water itself. And after that alimentary canal, what I said, the indigested food particles are also sent out through the cloaca itself. That is the functional difference in between anus to the cloaca. Here, the amphibian like a frog will be contained the cloaca, the terminal part of its alimentary canal, which receive the openings like urinary tract, reproductive tract, and what is the third? The question is asked that, and the options are given like this: alimentary canal. So what I said, the alimentary canal is nothing but a part and parcel of the digestive system, which can be opened into the cloaca itself. Now, B the portal system, and C the hepatic portal vessel, and D the lymphatic system. B, C, D are not at all concerned with this. Only the alimentary canal is the concerned answer to this question. That's why A option is correct for this. Now the third system is the alimentary canal is open into the cloaca itself. Now you go for the other question. Which one of the following is correctly described location of some body parts in the earthworm? Here the options are like this. The two pairs of the axillary glands are present in 16th and 18th segment. Here two pairs of the axillary glands are present in the body of earthworm, but which are present in the 17th and 19th segments itself, but not 16th and 18th. Not related this, not correct. Two pairs of the spermathecae in 4 to 7 segments. What I said, 4 pairs of the spermathecae can be present in each of the earthworm or each of the peritoneum postuma, and the spermathecae are present in between the segments of the, or in between the septum of the two of the segment. First pair is present 5th oblique 6th, second one is present 6th in between 6th and 7th, and third pair is present in between 7th and 8th, and finally the fourth pair is present in between 8th and 9th segments. Or when you consider the direct segments, certainly the 4 pairs of the spermathecae can be present 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th segment, not present in 2 pairs. Only 4 pairs of the spermathecae can be present, which are scattered 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th segments respectively. And after that, the second B option is also not correct. Whereas C option is the one pair of the ovaries are attached at septum between 14th, 15th segments itself. Of course, one pair of the ovaries are naturally present, but unfortunately they are not present in between 14th to the 15th segment. They are present 13th to 14th segments itself. That's why here the C option is also not correct for this question. Only the 2 pairs of the testes are present. One pair is present in the 10th segment, and the second pair of the testes can be present in the 11th segment itself. In that way, the fourth or D option is related to this question. That's why D option is correct option for this. Now we go for the next question. heart of cockroach is. The little unique type of heart can be present in the cockroach, which is often called as the neurogenic heart itself. That means by the stimulation and by the effect of neurons, they can be pressurizing the heart to circulate the blood into the body sinuses, and through the sinuses the blood is systematically circulated to the each and every part of the body. Here the why I am saying that the unique all the way from thoracic region to the abdominal part, all the way 13 segments can be present, and each chamber of the heart will be present and situated in thoracic and abdominal part itself. Only one of the blood vessel is associated with the 13 chamber heart or open circulatory system of the cockroach, that will be called as the anterior aorta itself. Okay. Now, how many chamber heart can be present? You know that what I said, thoracic part will be constituted by 3 of the segments, whereas abdominal part of the cockroach can be consist of 10 segments. So 10 plus 3, 13. Naturally, the 13 chamber heart is present in the cockroach itself. Now, the first option, A option is the 13 chamber heart. This is correct option. Whereas B option is the 29 chamber, because of the total segments of the body itself not present more than 20. So that's why the B option is not correct. Whereas the C is the 9 chamber. So it is also not related with this. And D is the 6 chamber. So naturally B, C, D are not concerned with this question. Only the 13 chamber heart can be present in the open circulatory system of the cockroach itself. That's why the A option is correct option for this. Now you go for the next question. Malpighian. Malpighian tubules are analogous to. You know that structural similar organs may be present in the 2 of the organisms, so they are simply called as the homologous organs. Structurally similar, origin is similar, but functional little difference is present among those parts. Certainly they are simply called as the homologous organs. Analogous organs means origin and structure is different, but functional similarity can be present. Those organs can be named as the analogous organ. Of course, you know that the Malpighian tubules of the cockroach can be performing the excretion and elimination of the nitrogenous waste material of the cockroach in the form of uric acid itself. Now, what are the similar functional organs are so far given in the 4 of the options like A, B, C, D. And among A, B, C, D, which option is analogous to the Malpighian tubules of the cockroach? That should be detected now. The options are given like this. A is the trachea of the cockroach. What I said, the tracheal system is one of the unique system which is always functionally helpful to the cockroach in the inspiration and expiration, or else it is helpful in the respiration of the cockroach. Whereas gills are helpful in the respiration, but gills are not present in the cockroach itself. And flame cells. The flame cells are the functionally similar to the Malpighian tubules of the cockroach, because the flame cells are the primitive excretory organelles which are confined to the platyhelminthes also. Even some of the primitive chordates also, along with the selinostate, the flame cells are also helpful in the excretion of the nitrogenous waste material itself. That's why the flame cells are included C option, and the flame cells are analogous to the Malpighian tubules of the cockroach itself. That's why the C option is related option for this question, and whereas D is the none of this. Now I am opting the C option as analogous to this question, Malpighian tubules of this. So C is the correct option for this. Now you go for the other question. Clitellum of earthworm constitutes segments. Here the clitellum is the two-layered structure and is the specific layer structure which is confined to the anterior part, really just a little close to the anterior part. And 2 of the glands can be present, mucus glands and the albuminous glands are present in the clitellum. And here the mucus glands are supposed to secrete the mucus, and with the help of mucus, after copulation the clitellum can be prepared the cocoon. For the purpose of fertilization, as well as for the development, embryonic development of the earthworm itself. And albuminous glands of the clitellum are synthesizing the a nutritive substance which is poured into the cocoon for providing the nutritive substance to the embryonic development of the earthworm itself. Actually, the clitellum is the girdle-like structure which is confined to three of the segments which are very close to the anterior part of the body. So, where the clitellum can be present? That is the question, and options are given like that. A option is concentrated on 7th, 8th, 9th. It is not at all concerned with the presence of the clitellum, and whereas B option is the 10th, 11th and 12th. It is also not correct to this, and C option is the 14th, 15th and 16th segment. C option is the correct option because of the clitellum is confined to the 14th, 15th and 16th segment. Main purpose of the clitellum to prepare the cocoon for the fertilization and embryonic development itself. That's why the C option is the correct option for this question, whereas D option is the 18th, 19th, 20th. The D option is also not related to this. A, B, D are not related, only C option is related option itself. Now I am opted the C option. Now you go for the next question. Cockroaches can climb smooth or steep surfaces due to presence of the adhesive pads found on the tarsi of their legs. They are called. Of course, you know that the cockroaches are perfectly crawl on the smooth surfaces and as well as rough surfaces also. You know that the three pairs of the genital legs can be present, and all of the three pairs of the genital legs of the cockroaches are popularly named as the for just homologous organs itself, because of each leg of the cockroach is simply made with the 5 of the parts itself: cardo, stipe, just cardo, trochanter, and tibia, fibula, and tarsus itself. The tarsus is the 5th segment of the leg, and which is simply comprises with the 5 of the tarsomeres itself. 1, 2, 3, 4 tarsomeres on either side of the 1 to 4 of the tarsomeres are simply provided with the microscopic pad-like structure which are simply called as the plantulae. The plantulae permit the cockroach to crawl on the steep surfaces or smooth surfaces itself. And after that, the 5th tarsomere of the leg can be named as the pretarsus, and the pretarsus is having one pair of the claws itself. In between two claws of the 5th pretarsus, there is a pad-like structure is present that will be called as the aroleum. So aroleum and one pair of the claws of the pretarsus are permit or enable the cockroach to crawl on the rough surfaces. Not only that, they prevent the damage of the legs of the cockroach while it crawl on the rough surfaces itself. This is a little explanation about the plantulae and aroleum itself. Now the options are given as the plantular, what I said, the plantular are present on 4 of the tarsus of the tarsomere. The A option is correct for this. Due to the presence of the plantulae, the cockroach is perfectly crawl on the smooth and steep surfaces of the environments itself. Whereas tibia, what I said, tibia one among the segments of the leg itself. And pretarsus is the 5th tarsomere of the leg itself. And aroleum, what I said, in between a pair of the claws, there is a pad-like structure. The spongy and pad-like structure can be present, that could be named as the aroleum. Plantulae permit the cockroach to crawl on the steep and smooth surfaces, whereas aroleum is permit the cockroach to crawl on the rough surfaces. Now among the A, B, C, D, the A option is related to this question. That's why opting the A option is the correct option. Now you go for the next question. What is the number of spinal nerves in frog? Now the options are given like this: A, 8 pairs, B, the 10 pairs, and C, the 11 pairs and 12 pairs. Of course, you studied that Pisces, amphibians, these two classes of the vertebrates are naturally provided with the 10 pairs of the spinal nerves, whereas from reptilians to all the mammals, particularly reptilia, aves and mammals, these 3 more groups of the vertebrae are provided with the 12 pairs of the cranial nerves itself. Now regarding the frog, certainly the 10 pairs of the cranial nerves are confined to the frog itself. Instead of 8 pairs or 11 pairs and 12 pairs are not at all present in the body of frog. Only the B option is the correct option for this. So that is the 10 pairs of the cranial nerves are confined to the body of frog. I too selecting the B option as the correct one. Now we go for the next question. In the mouth parts of the cockroach, the Galea and Lecinia form parts of the which part of the mouth parts itself. Of course, you know that the mouth parts of the cockroach itself is called just here cutting mouth parts itself, chewing and chewing. That means whatever the mouth parts are so far present in human beings also, our mouth parts are chewing mouth parts itself. So like that, whatever the mouth parts are so far present in the cockroach, they are also one of the example for the primitive mouth parts itself. The mouth parts of the cockroach is simply comprises with the 5 of the parts itself. One is called labrum, upper lip, a pair of mandibles, and the first pair of the maxilla, and the second one is the second pair of the maxilla united to form the labium. What do you mean of labium? Lower lip. In addition to that, hypopharynx is acts like a tongue, that's why it is simply called as the lingula. So in that way, 5 of the different parts are constitute the mouth parts of the cockroach itself. Now the question is asking that the Galea Lecinia, what are these 2 of the different parts where they are present, or which part of the mouth part of the cockroach can be contained? Now the Lecinia, Galea naturally present in the one of the maxillary part itself. Now you take the A option is the mandible. Lecinia and Galea not important parts of the mandible. The mandibles are very important mouth parts of the cockroach, which are helpful in the mastication of or cutting the food particles itself. Here the B option is the correct. What I said, maxillae. The maxillae is naturally contains. The second pair of the maxillae are united to form the labium. So that's why the maxillae is the correct option for this, because of the maxillae will be provided with the Lecinia and Galea. Lecinia and Galea are collectively named as the ligula. Or this is the analogous structures to the particularly glossa and paraglossa are also present. Okay, the glossa and paraglossa are confined to the labium, whereas the first pair of the maxilla will be contain the Lecinia Galea itself. These 2 of the parts are functionally similar. So during the mastication of the food particles, certainly some of the hard substances may be dropped from the mouth parts, and the Lecinia Galea of the maxilla and glossa and paraglossa of the labium are functionally similar. They can be recaptured the dropped food particles and re-handed over to the mandibles for sake of mastication itself. That is the function of Lecinia and Galea along with the glossa and paraglossa of the labium itself. So A option is mandible, not related. B option is the correct option, that is the Galea and Lecinia are associated with the first pair of the maxilla. And C option is the labium. The second pair of the maxilla are united to form the labium. So that's why the C option is also not related with the Galea and Lecinia, and D option is the labrum, which is simply called as the upper lip, which is also not connected to this question. And so B option is the correct option for this. I am opting the B option for this. And after that we go for the next question. If a live earthworm or live earthworm is pricked with a needle on its outer surface without damaging its gut, the fluid that comes out is, when you disturb or when you pin out the body of earthworm with the help of a pin, and certainly what kind of liquid like substance can be come out from the body itself. What I said, the body cavity of the earthworm is simply filled with the coelomic fluid. The sticky and little milky whitish colored coelomic fluid can be present in the body cavity. If the people can be pinned wall of the earthworm, live earthworm, certainly the sticky and milky white, little milky whitish color coelomic fluid is coming out from the body cavity of the earthworm itself. Now the options are given like this. First option is the excretory fluid. The excretory fluid is naturally present in the alimentary canal. So that's why without damaging of the gut itself, so the A option is not related to this. That is the excretory fluid itself. Now the B option is the coelomic fluid. What I said, the coelomic fluid is the only sticky liquid-like substance which is coming out from the body of the earthworm when it is pricked with a pin itself. And C option is the hemolymph. What do you mean of hemolymph? The blood of the earthworm is itself is called hemolymph. Hemolymph is also not coming out because of there is no damage of any of the blood vessel like dorsal blood vessel and ventral blood vessel, other branches of the dorsal and ventral blood vessels itself. And after that, the slimy mucus. It is also not concerned with only the coelomic fluid is only liquid-like substance which is coming out from the body of earthworm. That's why the B option is the correct option. Now we go for the last question, that is the 18th question. Now which one of the following present in the integument of frog and but not in that of mammals? Particularly integument means the body wall of the frog is exceptionally contains a kind of glands which are not present in the body of mammals itself. Now the following options are so far given. A option, dermis. Of course, dermis is not present in the mammals, and whereas B is the mucus glands. The mucus glands are only confined to the body wall of the frog, which is helpful in the secretion of the mucus to maintain the moist nature itself. Okay, whereas C the sweat glands are naturally present in the mammals itself, whereas D the none of this. Only the mucus glands are the only glands which are confined to the frog, not present in the mammals. That's why the B option is the correct option for this. And while I am opting the B option as the correct option for this question, and simultaneously I am concluding today's class. And thank you to everybody, and we meet again with a new topic itself. Thank you.